I'm Molly here with Rose City RV of Michigan, and today we're going to take a look at the all-new Puma 31 FK-RK. So is this the correct model for you, you may ask? Here are 5 key specifications to help you decide. This model can sleep up to 6 people, has a weight of 8,387 pounds, has an overall length of 37 feet 11 inches, has a height of 11 feet 1 inch, and features 2 slide outs. Let's take a look inside. Okay, welcome inside. So as you can see, this is a large front kitchen area, lots of counter space up here, big farmhouse style sink. So lots of space up there, nice window so you're able to see out, with a sprayer style faucet, which is nice too. I really like these. You're able to spray all over. I know the balloon looks goofy on there. That's just so we don't get antifreeze everywhere. Some storage on the side, up top here, as well as over here. Nice big storage. So this unit's going to have a ton of kitchen storage. These nice big front kitchens are just full of storage. So if you like to cook, or if you're permanently camping where you do a lot of outside cooking too, it's just nice to have that counter space for prepping. This oven here, not much has changed here. These are going to be the same as what you've seen before. 3-burner cooktop on top here, and I've mentioned it a few times. These now have thermocouples, so if you just bump into them, they're not just going to be emitting gas. So that was definitely a nice change. Just something to remember when you go to light it. You don't want to let go of that right away. You got to hold it in to ignite, and once it senses that flame, it'll stay lit for you. Then we have our light and fan over the range here, and then microwave. Not much really has changed there, regular old microwave. And then we've got our dual swing door, which you've seen before. Opens this side, so if you're running in to grab something from the entry door, if you're using it in the kitchen, you can use that on both sides. Super nice. They've adjusted those so the door doesn't fall off either. So if you don't get it totally closed, it won't come off anymore. And then we have nice big freezer space with a drawer here that slides. It's new, so it's got that tape. Some storage underneath, and then pantry. If you didn't get enough storage up there, you can use that too for a lot more space there for the kitchen items. Storage underneath is the dinette. So tons of storage in this coach, especially in the kitchen area. Then moving into the living room area, you get dual recliners directly across from the TV here. We do not option these Pumas with TVs, but you can easily pop your own in there. And then behind that, we've got our outlet, our TV booster here, and then our WandGuard Connect antenna. Front sound bar here, so you can Bluetooth here. We'll have dual speakers outside as well, so you got zone inside and outside there on the 1 and 2. And then fireplace, 31-inch fireplace down here. That's going to provide you with heat if you're interested, or you can just get the ambiance from it. Just one thing to keep in mind, if it's cold, just run your furnace. These are not designed to run in place of your furnace. And then a little shoe kick underneath of that, which is kind of nice functionality wise, gives you a little space there. And then jackknife sofa here, so you have additional seating if you have visitors. And then moving around the back, I like that Puma does these little enjoy the ride signs. They're just kind of cute. We've had a lot of good input on those. Then in the bathroom here, we've got a nice big tri-slide shower, so lots of bathroom space. I can't recall the measurements on that, but lots of space in there, nice and big. Sink with the vanity here, so nice storage for your toothbrushes, toothpaste. They even include this little toothbrush hanger. They install that for you, which is nice, or a little soap bar you could put up there, whatever you like, along with the light and the fan on the switch. And your GFI outlet is here too, so if that trips, that's where you're going to want to reset that. Then we have a towel bar. They put this towel bar up, which I like. I hate adding additional things to the wall because you never really know. They know where it's at. You can feel that they got that into some meat, so you're comfortable hanging stuff on there without having to worry about it. Then this is a cool little sensored light. When you open the door, it gets the motion detection and pops on for you, so at night you get a little bit of light there. And then they put the toilet paper holder in here. Again, I like that they install it. And then we've got storage up there, towels and such. So good bathroom area storage too, which is nice if you're extended stay or if you're just weekend camping. Our thermostat's located here, so you're going to have dual GEs on this model. The one in the kitchen living area is going to be on this, along with the furnace. The air conditioner that we have in the back here is going to be on hand controls. And then we have our CO2 and propane gas leak detector located right there. Always make sure that it's on and functioning when camping. And then in the bedroom, we have this one on, so it feels like a ice block in here, which is nice on these 85-degree days we've been having. Lots of space to get around the bed in here. Also lots of storage space for your clothes. This whole thing is hang space, goes all the way around. They also give you those mirrors there so you can see yourself when you're getting dressed or whatever you need to do. And then we have our storage space above for those foldable clothes. And then our converter location is right down here. This is where all your fuses and your breakers are going to be located. Right there. And they have them listed for you, which is nice that they do that now. And then behind the bed we have little corners, which are nice. I personally wish they'd make those a little bigger for the CPAP users. But they do give you 12-volt outlets, and then above that you have more storage also with the nice roller shade blind behind that emergency exit window. So this is going to be our second slide out, that first one being in the front there, that super slide, and then this one being located here. And then we have a washer dryer hookup as well as more storage in here. So even if you never put a washer dryer in here, you got tons of storage. You can put totes in there or whatever. But this unit has a ton of storage, both in the kitchen and the bedroom area. So this one really works good for an extended stay or a seasonal camper. They do give you 3 drawers right there as well too, so kind of like a mini dresser there. And then a nice roller shade on the window here. And then TV backer here, so if you are somebody who wants to watch TV in your bedroom, you can put a bracket up there and plug straight into the ceiling there. Monitor panel located right here, right by the entry door, super easy access. You're going to have all your main switches here. Water pump, gas function for the water heater there, main light switches, front porch light, and awning light. Then we've got our dual slide switches here, so that bedroom slide and this main super slide is going to be on these switches, and then our awning switch located right there. And our on-demand tankless water heater. This is a Girard. It kind of gives you a little brief option here, 42,000 BTU, operates on 12 volt. This freeze protection, I'm not real familiar with that, but I'm going to look into that. We're going to do another video on that. I believe that if it has power, it'll automatically cycle is how that works, but we'll confirm that. But temperature controls right here, so if you're interested in adjusting that temperature before you take a shower or do the dishes, you can do that. That's going to do it for the inside. Let's go check out the outside. Okay, so starting with the outside here, we've got dual propane tanks in here, along with our auto changeover regulator. And yes, those should be stiff. So dual 20s now, that's pretty much standard on a lot of things, just because a lot of components now don't need propane like they used to. And behind that, we have our battery tray located there. We don't have a battery on it now, but that's where it would go. And then we have our battery disconnect located there. Nice, easy access. Puma puts them all in the same spot. So if you have a different Puma and you're curious about it, that's where you can find that. Then over here we have our model tag. One thing I want to point out, I don't think I've said this, but on the VIN tag now they're putting the dry weight, which is convenient, and the overall length there. So 3711 and 8387 there on the weight. So that's convenient and easy. And that's pretty much across the board on Forest River. So if you're looking at something, you can pretty much find those stickers in this area. This is going to be a little outside access to underneath of that booth. So it's not a huge opening, but it gives you something there, which is nice. And then we have this big, long super slide. These are through frame slide mechanisms, so That's nice. Then we have aluminum rims here that add just to the look of the outside of this trailer. And then we have our black tank flush located right here. That's going to allow you to spray at a high pressure rate inside that black tank, help you agitate and break up any tissue that might be stuck to your sensors. So if you're having a sensor problem, you want to check that out. Then we have our furnace exhaust. It's nice that it's on this side. You don't have to worry about putting anything in front of that. Underneath of here, we have our sewer outlet connections. So you're going to have 3 on this. You're going to have 1 for the washer dryer in the rear. So if you never hook up a washer dryer, you don't have to worry about it, but that's going to be on its own. And then you're going to have the bathroom on its own, and you're going to have the kitchen on its own. So 3 gray tanks if you're using that washer dryer, just 2 if you are not. So lots of gray tank capacity. So this unit's going to give you 65 gallons of gray, and that's typically what everybody runs out of, so that's a nice thing. Then moving along here, we've got some storage underneath of the bed, and recently they've added these magnets. We're kind of getting away from those plastic baggage catches across the board. That was kind of a high-end thing before, but now they're using it on a lot of other things. I like that. Just one less thing to break and replace. Then we have our outside shower, which I always say is the most underused component. Gives you that hot and cold on the outside, which is convenient. Then we have a city water connection, so if you want to hook up on site with the campground water, you can hook straight into that and it'll feed your faucets inside. Up underneath of here, we have our low point drains. So those are kind of tucked up underneath of there for winterization. We're just for draining the system down. Then on the back here, we have our spare tire, our 50 amp hookup. Like I said, this unit has 2 air conditioners, so you're gonna have 50 amp. You don't need 50 amp to run them both, but you need 50 amp to run them both at the same time. So you can toggle between the two, especially on these hot days like we're having now, 85, 90 degrees. It's nice to run that living room one when you go to bed, kick that bedroom one on, and you're good and chilled down. So they are still using these exterior ladders on these Pumas. They're just a little bit more difficult for the average person to use. They're rated for 250, so just be careful if you're using those. Then we have our observation camera bracket right there. That's going to allow you to pop a camera in there and see behind you, not just when you're backing up, but when you're traveling down the road as well. And then on this side, this is that little storage hatch that goes into the washer dryer area. So if you wanted to use that as outside storage, you could as well. So really versatile storage, like I mentioned before. Lots of different storage in here. And then up underneath here, we have an LP quick disconnect. So if you wanted to add an additional grill outside, you can. And then we have power stabilizers front and back. And then nice big, I think this is a 21-foot awning, nice long awning here that they add. And then we have our TV brackets here. So you can put your TV outside if you're into that. That's a nice feature. Outlets for that TV or for whatever else you want to use it for. Cable hookup. So again, if you put that outside TV, you got a place to hook up into that cable if you have it. And then solid steps, everybody's pretty much doing that now. Those just fold up nicely into the door. I mentioned there's outside speakers, so that's what those are right there. And they give you the outside refrigerator and griddle. It's hard to traditionally get a outside kitchen on what we would call a couples coach because there's just never room to put them. People don't realize typically an outside kitchen goes up under a bunk in a bunk room. So you have access to that. But they're finding new ways to incorporate this, which is nice because a lot of people do like this, and not just when you have a bunkhouse. So it's cool they give you that. And then they also, Puma's the only one I've seen really do this. I'm sure there's other brands, but they give you this seasoning suggestion idea here. So it's kind of nice, helps you keep that conditioned. And then up here we have our freshwater connection and our on-demand water heater. So you're going to want to make sure this switch is on before you can use the control on the inside. That's one thing people miss. A lot of times these are double switched. It's pretty normal. And even triple switched. They'll even put the switch still on the monitor panel, which is a little redundant in my opinion, but one thing to look at if you can't figure out why you don't have power to that. Then we have a little solar on the side hook up here. So if you wanted to add a solar panel that you could move around into the sun, you can plug right into there. Just make sure you get one with the voltage regulator on it as well. So that's going to do it for the 31 FK RK. If you've got questions, please let us know.